Good day, everybody. This is Paul Romero here with the Wholesale Real Estate Investing number 227 on a Wisdom Wednesday, February 24th, 2016. And welcome all of the noodlers, and welcome all of the wholesalers, and welcome all of the potential interested in wannabe wholesalers as well, too. You guys especially are in the right place to get all the information that you're not going to get anywhere else about what it really takes and comes down to for you to be successful in wholesale real estate. And today's show is really actually going to get to the core of what that is all about. But before we get started in that and get into the content here, I'd like to say, shoot us a text, or shoot us a text. Use your keyboard and type it in. Let us know where you're hanging out from. We always like to know who's hanging out and where you're hanging out from. Gathering up this golden nugget bucket of information here, and I'm here in Phoenix, Arizona, as well as my business partner here with SAHA, Arizona, John Leister, who's also hanging out in Phoenix, Arizona. How are we doing this morning, John?
I'm doing fantastic, Paul, hanging out here live from Phoenix, Arizona, trying to adjust my screen a little bit here, get a better shot of my face, my handsome angles. Anyways, welcome to the Hangout. Paul Romero, John Leister. John Leister here with Paul Romero, 3 days a week doing these live Hangouts for you, trying to bring you insight into personal development, insight into wholesale real estate. And what direction are we going to take it today here on Wisdom Wednesday? I've got a good feeling that Paul has some good content lined up. We had a great discussion about 20 minutes ago, mainly in the realm of how to deal with people. And to me, the most important part of being successful in wholesale real estate is understanding the idea that wholesale real estate is mainly sales and marketing. Real estate's just a product, but the wholesaling of the real estate, that whole concept, it's sales and marketing. So if you want to get into wholesale real estate, you have to understand sales and marketing if you're going to be successful. If you don't like dealing with people and sellers and dealing with investors to flip your properties to, and you want to be involved in real estate, wholesaling ain't for you then. You're going to want to be in a position to take down the properties and work with the wholesalers who are finding the deals for you. Hence why we get paid so well to wholesale properties, is because we're out there in the trenches finding the deals, dealing with the sellers, and having strong negotiation and people skills. That's what it takes to be successful in wholesale real estate. So if that's what you're interested in, and that's something that you think you could get better at and understand, then hey, you're in the right place. Wholesale real estate, that's all about sales and marketing. So with that, welcome to the Hangout. Good morning, everybody. And what's on your mind today, Paul?
Well, today we're going to talk about exactly where you went there, and we're going to start out by digging into the digging down to bedrock, so to speak, and finding out what the core reason and problem is that why many potential wholesalers become wholesalers. And it is an internal problem. It's not anything that, well, it is up here, but it's not where people think it is. People think that it lies in the how-to and all the knowledge that you need to know of all the things that have to be done in order to flip a house in wholesale real estate, and all the learning how to comp and doing and knowing how to write contracts and doing all these different types of things. But as you said there, and we like to go as far as saying that, wholesale real estate has absolutely nothing to do with real estate. It's all about sales and marketing. Okay. And with that, most people don't like sales. Why do people dislike sales and salesmen and all of that? Because, and especially, having to try to be a salesman, that's especially where most people are have a huge, distaste, is that they could ever become a salesman, because they hate salesmen and salespeople. And it really stems from one question. And ask yourself this question: why do I fear the word no? Why do you fear the word no? that's the core reason why we would never want to be salesmen. Because how many times have you had a salesman ask you a question? Oh, I mean, even just a simple question is, "Hey, can I help you?" No, leave me alone. You know, how many times does that salesman hear no every day? So why would you want to be a salesman if you fear the word no? Why would you want to put yourself in a position of sales and having to hear that word no all freaking day long? You wouldn't, right? Well, that's where, gosh, I got a nose tickle. That's where your success lies in wholesale real estate, is embracing that word no and realizing that that word no equals your success. Gosh dang it. Oh, my nose or something.
Yeah, go for it. Okay, I guess where Paul's trying to go with that is the fear of no. He was. I've heard this presentation done before, and there's a book out there, and I can't remember the name of it, where they talk about the different levels. I'll let Paul kind of take that on when he gets back to the hangout here, because he had a refresher course on that this morning. But what we're getting at here, and where we're leading this hangout to, is getting over the fear of the word no. I can't stress this enough, especially since Paul and I are building a team here. We work with a lot of new wholesalers, and a lot of the wholesalers that are coming on board the team don't have any sort of background in sales. And in discussions with them, when I go ahead and I say, okay, this is a $220,000 property needing $25K in repairs. This is what we can sell it for. This is what I think we could offer. Go in there and offer $125,000 on the place. I can see that they get a little fearful of that, of presenting what they feel is a low number to a prospective seller. There's a lot of reasons for that. I think when you're new in wholesale, number one, you're afraid to say you're afraid to hear no, and that no might be that fear that everybody's afraid of, which nobody likes hearing no. We'll get into the psychology of this in a moment. But also when you're new at wholesale real estate, you haven't really had any deals yet, or you've just closed a very few, and you're desperate for that next deal, the fear of no is even stronger. I'm at the point now where I don't give a crap if someone tells me no, my offer's no good, or hey, that sounds low ball. I have a response for that. Hey, I told you up front that I'm making you a cash offer, that for me, this is an investment. So I've got to get it at a number, that's going to put your money in your pocket. But at the end of the day, for me, this is an investment, and I invest money to have a return on my money. So I got to make an offer that makes sense for me as well. I don't care if they say no to it. You got to get over that fear of no, of hearing no, because if you're not going to go out there and talk to 10, 15, 20 people because you're afraid they're going to say no, you're not going to get anywhere. And you have to go through a bunch of no's till you get to your yes. I like Paul, what you were talking about earlier with the breakdown of the types of people, those who just won't do anything because they just can't stand to hear no. There's certain levels of where I'll do just enough, talk to just enough people to get that one yes. Why don't you get into that a little bit?
I'll accept just enough no's to get just enough yeses to get just enough cash to just get by in this life. And after that, I'm going to screw off because I don't want to go out there and face any more no's. And then I think the next level was basically this is where you kind of break the chain, and this is where you actually sort of start to embrace the no and realize that the more no's I get, the more yeses I get, and so I'm actually going to chase the no so I can find the yes. And then after that, you get to the point of where, okay, well now wait a second. Now if I'm going to chase the no to get the yes, why am I going to chase 100 no's to get a yes that equals $50 when I can turn around and chase 100 no's to get a yes that equals $1,000? So that's when you start to realize that it's better to fail bigger. And then when you realize that it's better to fail bigger, then you realize that it's better to fail with a team. Now, wait a second. Now, I know if I go chase 100 no's and I get a $1,000 yes, what if I get 10 people in here chasing 100 no's, all for $1,000 yes. We're all going to make a whole lot more money. So those are like the 5 steps right there, just what you broke through. And then where the psychology of this comes from, like John said, we're going to get into that real quick. I'm just going to run back to, why do I fear the word no? And it all starts, from day one that you breathed air on this planet. Pretty much the first word. What's the first thing that happens to you? You get spanked on the ass. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but growing up when I got spanked, that was a bad thing. So, so bad thing happened very first thing, and then one of the very first words you hear out of somebody's mouth, besides goo goo gaga, oh he's so cute. As soon as they get you home and away from the public, and you're in your private world now, one of the first words you ever hear is no. And no is a bad thing. You're a baby and you hear no and you want something. You want it to be a yes, and you start crying because you want yes and you're getting no. And then you go, and as you get a little bit older, that no's, those persistent no's, as you get older, every time you hear no, it just makes you feel bad. You want something and you get shut down. You can't have it. No. And then it expands even just a little bit further to include the word failure, because once you get into school, failing is a hugely bad thing. So you don't want to be failing, and you don't want to hear the word no. So, man, sales, no wonder sales suck so bad, because every time somebody says no, I fail. What do I want to do that for? And then so we get so ingrained into this fear of no and failure that we don't even want to be exposed to, the possibility of hearing those words. And some people will take it even so far as to do anything and everything, not even to put themselves in a position to potentially hear that no, or to potentially have a chance to fail at something. And those are the people like John started out, that'll just do everything in the world to avoid hearing that no. And you can kind of see, as you start to develop, those different levels there, and you start to understand that that no equals success, that you can break in from one level to the next. And like John was talking about with our team here, even John and I, neither of us came from sales either. This is all stuff that we had to learn ourselves. And so, but like John was saying there, when we first started out too, it was hard making a low ball offer. And we didn't make super low ball offers on a lot of stuff. We were conservative. We were making very good, tight offers. And but as time goes by, as you start building that confidence in the fact that, and this is something that we're going to be presenting to the team here, is that, you really, I don't know, it takes a special, not necessarily a special person, but it takes a special skill, and you have to develop that special skill to become not an arrogant person, but a self-confidence person in enough that you can walk in and face a person with an attitude of, I don't need your property. In your mind, you think, you're not going to tell them that, but, in your mind, you got to be thinking, that I don't need to buy this property. And with that sort of an approach and a mental attitude in your own head, that I don't have to buy this property. And that's where people get stuck, like John was saying, is that there's that desperation for the next deal, that I got to get this next deal. I can't bid that low. I got to make sure I do something to get this deal. But when you have that whole attitude of I don't need this property, you can end up getting more deals, because you just go in there, you're making your offers. It is what it is, and you have the confidence to back it up with the with the evidence of showing why this is where it is, this is where it has to be, these are the numbers, kind of a thing, and taking all of the emotion out of it. And that's a skill that has to be learned in wholesale real estate.
Absolutely. Take the emotion right out of it. And it's business. And when you talk to people in person or over the phone, you don't get upset when they say no to you. You shouldn't fear giving them an offer that's going to make sense, because at the end of the day, why am I out here doing this? Presentation to the seller and showing them what's in it for them is one thing. But why am I really out there making offers on properties? It's for me. It's for my paycheck and for my benefit. Now, we're always presenting win-win situations. And when we're talking with sellers, we're putting it in terms that appeal to them, because I understand that they don't care about what's in it for me. They care about what's in it for them. But what's in it for me is a deal. And if it's a deal at the number that I'm offering, it's a deal at the number. And if they don't play ball with that number, hey, no harm, no foul. You know, they're still a nice person. We don't do business together. And do not get hung up on the no's that you're going to hear, especially in the beginning, till you really know how to really work people and speak to them properly. And confidence and knowledge of real estate do have a lot to do with that. But the point that we're trying to make here is, and I bring this up specifically for newer wholesalers getting into the business who are afraid of that rejection that they may hear upon making a lowball offer. Just get over it, I guess. Easier said than done. But the truth of the matter is, it ain't a deal if we offer more than that. So we can't do business. We got to do business at numbers that make sense for us to do business at. And you could even be, when you're dealing with a customer or someone selling the house, you could be honest with them and simply say that, sir, I certainly appreciate your time. I buy these properties as investments, and I need to create a win-win where I can get you money in your pocket, but I need a return on my cash. So, if that's what you want, this is where I'm at. I'm sorry it won't work out. And maybe I'll follow up with you in a couple of weeks, see if we can't do business then. Thank you. Bye-bye. I mean, simple as that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it really comes down to going back to the no and the failure, and all of those two things in your life making you feel bad your entire life. And failure, especially, not only with does it make you feel bad, it makes you look bad. You get embarrassed by it. You're ashamed that you failed. You don't want to let anybody know that it happened. You just want to crawl up in a little hole and die, every time that you fail. And it's really, like I said, it really all comes down to the embarrassment of it. And we don't want to be embarrassed and looking bad and feeling bad and all of those things. And it all comes down to, where does that embarrassment come from? It comes from our concern or our worry about what someone else thinks about us. And in this world, the sooner you can get over the point of not giving a crap what somebody else thinks about you, the faster you're going to move on towards success, because that's really what it's all about. When you go in there and you're worried about making that lowball offer, the back of your mind, you're worried about what this guy's going to think about you. Is he going to think that I'm some kind of shyster? Is he going to think that I'm trying to screw him? Is he going to think that, all of these things? Well, I don't give a crap what he thinks, right? This is the offer, dude. I mean, that's kind of the way it goes. So getting over that, and this is a funny thing because I go back and forth with this with my wife. That she thinks I'm a freaking cold fish, that I have no freaking emotion whatsoever, that I don't give a crap about what anybody thinks. And you know what I tell her? You're right. I don't. I don't give a crap what anybody thinks. All right. All I care about is what's best for Paul. Period. End of conversation. And if what's best for Paul can create a good situation for a seller out there, then we can do business. But other than that, if it's not what's best for Paul, if it's what's best for the seller and it doesn't do Paul any good, why do I want to be involved with that? I don't. Okay, that's the bottom line. So it's very funny. It's very funny. Like I said, I don't know. Do you have to be a cold fish and be totally emotionless? Yes, to a sense. Does that mean you have to apply it to your whole life like I do? That's what my wife thinks. That I don't care about anything from anybody emotionally in any respect, and that's not true. I care about people. I care a lot about people. I care about these sellers. I want to do something good and right for these sellers. At the end of the day, I want to create that win-win situation, and you have to care to be able to do that. You know, I mean, the cold fish totally doesn't care about the seller at all and just says, you know, I can buy your house at this amount of money. Oh, you owe more than that? Well, that's too bad. You're going to have to come to the closing table with about $2,000, I guess, if you want to sell this property. I don't know. I can look at that situation and go, hey, look, man, if you owe that much, that's not really where I want to get the property back, you know, but I think we can still put this together, and I can put $1,000 in your pocket or something like that. You know what I mean? I'm willing to make a little bit of a concession because I care about people, because I want them to walk away from the situation feeling good too. That's where I care about it. But as far as it being, you know, right for me or wrong for me, I don't care what the other person thinks. It's got to be right for me first.
Absolutely. And there's nothing wrong with feeling that way or being that way. I just got to state that, because if you feel that, you know, giving people an offer is lowballing them and you don't have the stomach for it, this isn't the right business for you. If you want to be in real estate and you want to get great deals, but you don't want to deal with, like I said, deal with people directly to contract and negotiate the sale of a property, wholesale real estate is not going to work for you. It's just not, and that's the simple truth. What's going to work for people? This business only work for people who are, you know, are willing to go into warrior mode, not be worried about the answer, not be worried about hearing no, not be afraid to present offers, not to be afraid to engage in conversations about the offer. You know what? I take back what I said. It's okay to be afraid, but you can't let that fear stop you from moving forward. If you're someone, I should say, if you're someone who's stopped by the fear of presenting an offer, or who's stopped by the fear of engaging in a conversation to discuss your offer, or stopped by the fear of hearing no, then you don't have what it takes to be successful in wholesale real estate, and you will not be successful in wholesale real estate. I should clarify that, because it's okay to have the fear as long as it doesn't stifle you. That, like a T. Harv Eker, Secrets of the Millionaire Mind author, in his Warrior Declarations, I act in spite of fear. Because I'll be honest, Paul and I, like he just discussed, we're very kind of like fearful of losing a deal and bashful about making our offer. And God, if I could just had a recording of all the phone calls I'd done, and I could listen to myself 4 years ago, stumbling through my words, stuttering like a nincompoop, and presenting in a half-assed manner my nervous, timid, low offer, and then just, oh, okay, no, you're right, I'm lowballing you, I'm so sorry. You know what? We were afraid, but we never let the fear keep us from moving forward, and that's really what.
Even that ridiculous phone call you just described still got us some deals, which kept us going.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, now here's something quite powerful here. So now, so there's the power, the negative power of no, right, and of failure on you personally, right? So how do you use that to your advantage? How do you flip the power of no? Well, you do it first of all by understanding that you're not the only one that feels that way. Okay, everybody feels that way. Everybody, all of us. Well, maybe not everybody, but probably 9%. The 1% who's very, very, very successful get this. Okay, so maybe 95% of the people out there all feel the same way about no that you do. So if you can flip the script on the no, guess what you can do? You can get them to be thinking yes. And that's where you want to go. So how do you do that, John?
I'm sorry, Paul. Ask your question one more time. I'm not sure I understood it.
I said, so how do you flip the script on the power of no? You do it with what's called a double negative question. Because think about this. When somebody tells you no, what do you want? You want a yes, right? Even when, like John's example in the previous hangout there. Even when you're a little kid, little tiny kid, and you want a cookie at 9 o'clock at night, and you hear no, what is it that you want? You want yes. I want the damn cookie. Give me a yes, right? So, and I mean, and it's all the way up through your entire life. You hear a no, what do you want? You want a yes. Every time there's a no involved, you want a yes. So if you present the question as a no, what do you think the other person's going to want? A yes.
Right. You know, if you're doing a cold call off of a list, you call them, you know, and you're going to hear no regardless of this question. But what Paul's getting at is the double negative question. Like if I happen to call somebody totally cold, they didn't post anywhere online that they were interested in selling the house. I know they're in foreclosure for some reason. I went and checked things out, and the property is vacant. So I'm going to call this person up about selling me their vacant property. And hey, it happens to be in foreclosure. So you going to shit or get off the pot? I might say something like, rather than say, hey, this is John Leister. Do you want to sell your house? You know, and I'm paraphrasing. I don't jump that quick into it. Okay. But I may present it more like, you wouldn't be interested in selling your house. You wouldn't be interested in selling your house, would you? Then they hear, wait, how do you know I wouldn't be interested in selling my house? Maybe I do. Yeah, because they want yes. You're asking them a question but telling them no. This is so funny and ridiculous, but it's so powerful and true. One of the questions too is like, you know, you're telling people like, hey, you know, if I can't get cash on my, if I can't get a property for cash at a number that works, I might be able to pay you the $150 you're asking, but I need terms. You know, if you were to rent that property to me for the next year to 2 years, that wouldn't be something you'd be comfortable with, would it? And their response 9 out of 10 times is like, what goes on subconsciously is like, who the hell is this guy telling me I wouldn't feel comfortable with this? And they want to say yes. Most of the time they'll say, you know, maybe, yeah, that might be something. What kind of terms are you offering? That might be something I'm comfortable with. Oh, let's not jump to any conclusions here.
Right. Right. What, don't answer the question for me. Let me answer it for myself. You know, maybe I would. Yeah. You know, I'll even talk myself into it. Hell yeah, I would. Yeah, it is. I mean, and it's so, I mean, once you kind of get this concept right here, like John said, it's so ridiculous. It's so ridiculously funny. I mean, and it is. And I mean, we laugh hilariously every time we use this and we do this, and it's just so funny that and even just talking about it, it just makes you laugh. It's just so the psychology being so simple and so effective. It's hilarious. It is so freaking funny that this happens. And like I said, that whole thing about and in fact, you know, I'm going to take it one step further, because we talked about something on the other hangout, which was like a double negative question. And I don't know, this would be a little bit harder to apply in wholesale real estate, because you're actually talking to the person that you need to be dealing with. But in the other hangout, we were talking about asking a question where we said, you wouldn't happen to know someone else who might be interested in something like this, would you? So not only have we presented the, you know, you wouldn't want to be interested in something like this, but now we've taken that person out of the question as well too. You wouldn't happen to know someone else. Not you. I'm not, you know, I already know you don't want this. So you wouldn't happen to know that somebody else wouldn't be interested in this, would you? I mean, and immediately now they're being like, well, wait a second. Why do you think I wouldn't be interested in this? And then why wouldn't I be interested in this? And now we're hitting them, like I said, with the double negative kind of a thing. Like I said, I don't know if we can actually get that into the wholesale real estate thing, because of the fact, like I said, that you are actually dealing with that person. And I don't know how we can exclude them out of the possibility there. But if there's a way to do it, we'll think about it. We'll let you know, because that would be ultimately powerful.
Hell yeah, it would be. So, oh shoot. Okay, cool. We do have a minute or two left here. Just, you know, what I'm thinking, Paul, is I think next Wisdom Wednesday, why don't we arrange, and this might be a good experiment, and it might fail miserably. We may crash and burn, but we could try to, oh, let me turn that ringer off. Maybe we could try to get someone on the phone live and do our little script, and then we can critique what it is I did right and what it is I did wrong, and put some of these concepts into play. I mean, this can either go really well, or I can look like the world's biggest jackass. I'm willing to go ahead and put that out here next Wednesday if that's something that you think that would be beneficial.
You know what else could happen? Both. You could look like the world's biggest jackass, and it could go well.
You know what? I'm going to point out that I kind of want people to be, not too much, but most likely I will look like a jackass, and it will go well because it's on purpose. So
hey, there you go, guys. Next Wednesday, next Wisdom Wednesday, that'll actually be the March 2nd. I'm going to do a live call to a seller, cold call, blind call, first time connection with this person, never called them before, and John's going to blow your mind with a jackass script. You guys saw the movie Jackass? Well, now you're going to get the phone call Jackass. So with that, O universe, I ask not for more riches, but for more wisdom, with which to make better use of the riches given to me at birth, consisting of the power to control and direct my own mind to whatever end I might desire. Let everybody know about this call coming up. You guys all want to be here. It's going to be awesome. You're probably going to laugh your tail off. Have a good weekend, or have a good rest of your week, and we'll see you back on Freedom Friday.